right, so we're here filming the Vanguard Realty Alliance agent highlight video, and we have Anthony on today. So Anthony, I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it Venezia?
It's Venezia.
Venezia.
Yeah.
I apologize.
All good.
I just want to make sure I get it right.
Happens all the time.
Anthony, thanks for being on. Appreciate it. So yeah, we really just want to find out more about you and what's going on in your life and your world and your business. So I always like to ask, how did you get started in real estate? What sparked your interest? What had you to choose this path?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. This is definitely exciting. And yeah, I mean, getting into real estate was something that I thought about probably mid 2018, going into 2019. It was something that just appealed to me. I mean, worked W-2 jobs after college. Knew that wasn't going to be for me. I know you hear that story a lot when people talk about getting into real estate. So just had an interest for it. Got exposed to a couple different platforms that really kind of resonated with me and was interested, and wasn't quite sure of like how I wanted to get into real estate. First thought was being an agent. And that was something that I knew eventually I would want to do. But it's really kind of funny how everything worked out to kind of start initially with the story that kind of gave me that eye-opening experience in life, and then just kind of pushed me forward to do what I had thought about doing for a little bit, getting into real estate. So in mid-2019, my dad passed, and obviously it's a big shock to my life. And with that, no way around it, an insurance policy was left for myself and my sister. So I was already kind of getting into investing or the mindset of it at least. And then that happens, and I'm like, all right, well, what am I going to do with this? Obviously not going to be an idiot, live in his honor, all that stuff. And so that happened in May of 2019. I closed on my first rental property in December of 2019.
Got it.
So kind of jumped in, didn't know all the answers, but just kind of took the leap of faith. So bought a rental property, and then eventually I got involved with a team within Keller Williams and became their listing coordinator. So just kind of got my foot in the door, became their listing coordinator to learn, and I learned a lot. It was kind of right through the start of the pandemic. There's a good amount of listings going on, processing a lot of transactions. So I got a really good idea of things that way. And then knew I didn't want to do that for too long. Became an agent with that team. And then here I am with Vanguard. Just liked everything that Vanguard has to offer. So,
well, thank you. Appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge, sorry for your loss. I didn't want to cut you off while you're going.
I appreciate it.
I'm sure your dad would be super proud that you did something positive with that, inheritance, life insurance, right?
Yep.
And
yep.
It's it's something that not everyone does, right? Because I'm sure he put a lot of sacrifice to be a great dad and provider, and he wouldn't want it to be wasted. I've seen people blow that money, so
yeah.
And I know what you've done over the past year, so it's pretty incredible. Do you want to share a little bit about just kind of fast forward, like what this past year 2021 looked like for you in terms of the investing side? Because I know that's really where your focus and your heart is at the moment.
Yep. And obviously a big reason in kind of alluding to the insurance policy and all that, because that is what has allowed me to kind of scale as quickly as I have. It's nothing crazy, but it's something. But in 2021, I bought 2 duplexes. So I have a single unit in Norristown, and I have 2 duplexes in Pottstown. So 3 properties, 5 units total. Bought those 2 duplexes in the same week of July or June. Sorry. So that's what my portfolio looks like.
That's
now.
Awesome. So one thing a lot of people probably wonder is like, well, how did you find any deals? Because 2021, it was like a feeding frenzy out there as an investor, and to pick up 5 units in a year, it's pretty cool. So do you mind sharing about like, how did you source those deals? What did the numbers look like?
Yep.
What do you want to do?
Yeah. So they were all on market. The one in 2019, the single unit was looking on market, had a search criteria, was working with a buddy of mine who's an agent to help me out. and just doing the due diligence of looking every day, running numbers, looking at it. Again, with the insurance policy, I was in a position to purchase cash. So my method getting into it was the BRRRR strategy of buy a fixer-upper, fix it up, rent it out, refinance, and then use that equity to propel forward. So that's kind of how that first one shook out in December of 2019. And I can go, I know you talked about getting into the numbers. I don't know much you want me to get into it or not,
whatever you want to share. Yeah. Just because someone that's listening, you know, everyone's like, well, how do you evaluate a deal? Because I heard you like running the numbers. What does that look like? Right.
Yeah.
You know?
So just to kind of quick kind of glimpse through it, went to a showing. They had it listed for, I think it was $83,500, and it had been sitting for, I think at that time, maybe like 3 weeks. It was kind of strange when I show up for the showing, the listing agent and the owner are sitting like in the dining room. I walk in,
a little awkward,
a little bit. So I'm doing the showing myself, my agent, and then the listing agent and the seller. So it was strange, but I use that to my advantage because that seller was definitely talking a little bit, and I kind of understood what her pain point was and what her story was, and I talked to her and was asking her questions and was being realistic about where I stood, and then also what she needed to get out of it. So asking 83.5, been on the market for a few weeks. I got it down to 70. And I mean, at this time, I've not fully knowing like ARVs, after repair value and renovation budgets and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of just taking that leap of faith, buying it at 70. I felt comfortable. Put about $25,000 into it. So including closing costs as well and holding costs with utilities and such, probably about all in around $100,000. And then I went to probably about 15 banks, just going into banks left and right. Hey, I got this rental property. I just improved it. Here are the improvements that I did. What can I do with it? Can I get a home equity line of credit? Can I get a cash out refinance? And probably about 13 of those banks were like, we don't do that for investment properties, only primary residences. But finally found a bank, did a home equity line of credit, got it appraised. It appraised for 105, so it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, you hear deals like 75% all in.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything
But you
crazy.
got most of your money back, or a decent amount.
Yep, and I chose to go the home equity line of credit route because, I mean, I didn't use it for probably about 6 months. So
why pay interest on it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just look at it like a credit card. Don't use it. You don't have to pay against it. And so that was nice, but opened up about a line of just under $79,000. And that is part of what I used to purchase those duplexes to paint the rest of the picture, because that's only $79,000. I don't want to say only, but those duplexes, the purchase of those two combined was about $310,000, and I purchased those technically cash as well. I leveraged other assets, equity and other assets, with lines of credit to purchase those duplexes in cash, and then actually recently just refinanced one of the duplexes to settle into a principal and interest mortgage.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of the things that people get stuck up on is the money, right? And I know listeners might be like, oh, well, he inherited this, but like you said, you went to 13 different banks, right? So a lot of it is not the resources, but your resourcefulness, and then understanding how there are different avenues to access capital.
Yep.
And I think we can help you expand on that even more. So
absolutely.
It's awesome what you're doing. Where do you see yourself taking this thing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm over the next year, but 5-10 years, I mean, I'm definitely looking to build a portfolio. It doesn't have to be one of those 1,000 units or anything crazy like that. I'm more in for kind of quality over quantity. So trying to get as much cash flow as possible with as little amount of units as possible, with the intention of less headache, less management, all that kind of stuff.
Smart. Kind of smart.
Yeah. So
every door is a headache.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I mean, I kind of have a personal goal for myself, where I want to call it the Grant Cardone 10x. My rental portfolio over the next 5 years. So I mean, I say like I want to get 50 units in the next 5 years.
You say, or you will?
I will.
There you go.
I will. The only caveat to that, I look at it like if I can get just as much cash flow with less units,
I got it.
Sign me up for that.
Well, let's say the intention will be fulfilled. The
Yes.
cash flow of what you're looking at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have certain cash flow numbers that I'm looking to get to, but it's the rental portfolio. I mean, I like being an agent. There's benefits to having a license as an investor for sure.
So why is that interesting to you? Why do you want to create cash flow for yourself?
Freedom, time freedom. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
And what like drives you to do this?
Just when I look out, I mean, recently got married, have a dog, plans to raise a family. When I look out at what it's going to look like when I'm raising a family, like I want to be there for my kids, want to not be that parent that is sending my kid to daycare for however many hours, or I mean, going out and working, and my wife can kind of watch the kids and she can do some work as well. So it's really just the freedom.
That's awesome.
Sure.
It's exactly what our mission is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a company, our goal is really to help empower human potential, right? So you're talking about a lifestyle and providing for a family. That's a potential, right? And it all depends on what you want. And we just want to be a pathway and a guide to financial freedom. So we're committed to delivering on that. And and my commitment to you is to help guide you in that process. But what would you share for anyone else that's like an agent? Because you've seen both sides of this, you know, and there's nothing wrong with being an agent. It's a great way to make a living. It's a respectable, you know, you get to help a lot of people. There's so many benefits to it. What do you see for yourself, and maybe someone that's considering like, oh, should I buy rentals? What would you tell them?
I think it all comes down to like what you want out of life, what you want, what your goals are. If it's something similar to me where you want to live life on your own terms, maybe the investing is kind of the better route. If it's something where you're okay, you genuinely like being an agent, you like going on showings, negotiating, where like the way I look at it is to an extent, at least, your time as an agent, your time is your client's time. You have to be there for your clients. That's definitely important to being an agent. In my limited experience as one, at least. So I think it's just what you want out of life.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and you still do some sales, right?
Yeah. Since February of 2020, when I got my license, I've done 6 deals. Cool part. 2 of them are representing myself. So when I bought these duplexes, I took home a commission check.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And you primarily work with like friends and family and referrals, people that know you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like it like that. I mean, the referral business is definitely, it's easier. If you're getting people business from others who you know and like, and you trust them, the idea is that client's going to be a little bit easier to work with. So I kind of like that aspect.
That's cool. It's great that you've been able to blend the two, you know, and do it. It seems like you really work with clients because you want to help them.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not like you don't need to run out and get a commission check. So it's pretty cool that you don't have commission breath like a lot of agents out there.
Yeah. And I've had a couple, sorry to cut you off. I had a couple buddies come to me about investing. So I enjoy the heck out of that. I mean, if they want to come and learn about investing and start to dabble themselves, like I can be here to kind of guide them and kind of, yeah.
I'm excited to see where you go.
Thank you.
Because I see that, you know, what you've done in such a short period of time. I've watched so many people and listened to so many people talk about, I'm going to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this, you know, and 2, 3, 4 years later, still talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see you as someone you're not out there bragging about what you did. You know, you wouldn't even shared that unless I asked you, and just taking consistent action and making it happen. That's really what it's all about, and just leading by example. So it's really awesome to see that, and I'm just super happy to have you as part of the brokerage because I could tell your values are in alignment with what we're doing. I could see that you not only want to create financial freedom yourself, but also help other people do that and collaborate on that and share what's working for you. So appreciate that, and we're excited to see where this goes.
And I could not be happier about where life has led me. Seriously, I'm just very thankful to be a part of this brokerage. I mean, we have this Friday morning meetings, and I literally feel like that's something that pushes me forward in the agent role, in the investor role, because I hear other people's experiences, other people's knowledge who are more experienced than myself. And it's just kind of a time to take in that value, learn from other people's experiences. And it's just kind of connecting with like-minded individuals on a regular basis. And there's a lot of value there.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We enjoy having you, so keep coming.
Appreciate that very much.
So Anthony, if anyone is interested in working with you, what's something you might be able to help a client with, or potentially maybe a seller if you want to buy some more properties? Just share a little bit about what you offer, what you bring to the table, and how to contact you.
So I mean, I'm just, as far as being pretty, having my hands on the market, looking regularly for myself, for my clients. I do feel as though over the course of the last few years, I've gained a lot of industry knowledge, specifically in the markets that I deal with in certain areas of Montgomery County and Chester County. So that's something.
What are those niche areas?
So specifically, I live in Phoenixville. I'm looking to actively invest in Phoenixville. It's a little bit more of an expensive market, so a little harder to get into in cash flow, but nonetheless, that is a good area, at least in my eyes. Pottstown, people have differing opinions on it. I think it's an area that it's not far from Phoenixville. There's the infrastructure for downtown that is already kind of started to move in, some breweries, restaurants, and stuff like that. And then
the numbers actually work there.
Yeah. You can cash flow pretty well if you're buying right in Pottstown. Yep. And then, I mean, for whatever you're looking for, you buy for cash flow, and the potential is there for appreciation, but at least on a monthly basis, your income's covering your expenses.
So if anyone's looking in those areas, you think you might be able to help them out?
Absolutely. Those are the two areas I know the best.
And you also could potentially buy their house if someone listening wanted to sell, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm always, and that's one of those things where it needs to be mutually beneficial. I'm not looking to rip anybody off. If somebody has a situation in their life that they're looking to have a solution for their problem, happy to provide one and make it a win-win. So as far as where people can find me, I'm not too active on Instagram, but I'm active enough where if you message me, I will see it and respond. So my tag is Anthony_Venezia, Venezia. So it's where people can find me. So
I apologize for butchering your name.
It's all good. I've heard way worse before, so it's totally cool.
It was somewhat close.
It was.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on today. We appreciate it. And when we do one next year, it's going to be amazing to see the growth, because I know it's coming.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and excited to be here and part of the brokerage.
Good deal. All right. Take care. Thanks.